Hello friends, and welcome to Flosstube 2, Part 2. My name is Lisa Ann, and I'm with Pieced Pineapple Studio in Columbia, South Carolina. We're a modern long arm quilting business, but I also do cross stitch and crafting, and that's what we're here to share. You can find me on Instagram at Pieced Pineapple. You can find me on Kara for my personal quilting at Pieced Pineapple. And you can find me on Facebook at Pieced Pineapple Studio. Okay, so what are we going to talk about in this part 2 video? The first video was, as I was editing the first video, it was just too long. So I decided to go ahead and split it into 2 videos. So if you're looking for the cross stitch, that's on part 1. If you're looking for the quilting, knitting, and embroidery and a life update, you're in the right place. I hope you stick around with me and join me in my quilting studio for a look at what I've been up to quilt-wise. Hey guys, welcome to my studio. You can't see too much right now, but this is where all my fabric's stored. My desk's right behind there. It's also my sewing station, cutting station, and long arm. This is my ironing station slash a really large bathroom, because this should have been a bedroom. So the bathroom in there is actually my ironing station and where my other design board is. But let's show you my first quilt to share today. This is the Playground Skillbuilder by Corinne Sovey. It was a Block of the Month program that we did through Austin Modern Quilt Guild back when I was in Texas. And it's not available on her blog anymore, so I'm really sorry. If you're really itching to try this, send me a DM or an email, or find me on Instagram, reach out to me, and we'll figure something out. I can give you more info, but it was a Block of the Month program through the Austin Modern Quilt Guild, and I started it out in January with everybody else. I think it was January that it started, whenever it started, and then I moved. So I was still part of the guild. Technically, I paid the membership dues, and it was during 2021 that I moved. So because of the pandemic, there was still the online meetings and all that. So I was still technically part of the Austin Modern Quilt Guild during the release of this whole Block of the Month quilt. But because of the move, I wasn't able to finish when I lived in Florida briefly. I just didn't have the quilting time. I was constantly traveling and only home on the weekends to do laundry, grocery shop, and, you know, actually see my husband. So right before I turned back around and went back out for work. So it hit a roadblock, but I busted it out. I think before I moved, I had finished this guy and this guy. I want to say that's it. But I had all the fabrics cut. I had it stored in a project bin. Speaking of the fabrics, this was the mid-bod speckled quilt kit that was released by Beehive Crafts, craft studio in Austin, Texas during this whole Block of the Month program. They had multiple colorways, and Mid-Century Modern just spoke to my heart. That's my jam. It's in the Speckled fabric collection by Ruby Star Society. If it's a specific designer, I'm sorry, I can't remember who actually released it, but I know it's Ruby Star Society. So I was full steam ahead with that. Let's see what the colors are. We have this one here. This is in pine, speckled pine, speckled icebox, speckled white gold, speckled warm red, speckled citron, and speckled metallic cloud. I do think I need to buy a little bit more metallic cloud because of the cutting directions, but I might be totally fine. I might be good. I am missing blocks 7, 8, and 9. So 7 goes right here. Technically, this block would be more in this line. So the block that goes here is some elongated triangles, And then we have some flying geese, large scale flying geese in this area. And then some more elongated triangles down here. Let's get this guy back up. And then the upper corner to kind of show how this fits. Well, I guess this could technically go ahead and be aligned, right? This is kind of the upper corner as it is going to be once it's finished. Right now I have my orange peels fused on with, I think I used Pill on Wonder Under on these. That's not what it was called for, but it's what I had, so I went for it. I still need to do the applique stitch around the outside, but it was fun to learn during my pressing. You probably can't see it from there, and I'm probably pointing out things I shouldn't, but during my pressing, my iron got dirty at some point. I must have caught some of the edge of the fusible. So I did get some dark burn marks here and here. This one had it really bad, and that's when I was like, hey, whoa, something's up. I thought at first this was just, it was still damp or something, so I let it be. But then on this one, that's where I was like, it's not drying. So it is what it is. We gotta fix this. So I pulled off that one. Thankfully, I was able to rip it off, cut out a new template and fusible, and restitched it on. So now I'm gonna go ahead and finish the applique stitch around it. This is a really fun, it's been a fun project to work on. It's very simple piecing. I know how to do all these pieces, but the way she approached it was to teach you different ways to do the different blocks. So this was, you know, okay, we had the squares, and how do you do just a half square? How do you do it? Like different cutting techniques, I guess, to give you the different blocks. There are scrap blocks, like full-size blocks that aren't used in the quilt, but were necessary to get the cut pieces. So I do have extra blocks that I'll turn into something at some point. But I'm really looking forward to actually getting this fully finished. And then on the long arm, I want to practice and play with just custom freehand stitching on these. So using the different motifs, because it's not for a customer, it's just for me, so I can play all I want. You know, really play with the orange peel designs and the half square triangles and all of that. Really just work on different motifs and play around with stitching. So yeah, this is the Playground Skillbuilder Block of the Month pattern from 2021 from Corinne Sovey. So the next project that I have to share with you that I finished but not fully finished, is this Liberty Pillow block. This is from Pillow Talk by Edita Star of Laundry Basket Quilts. This is a really awesome book with, gosh, I don't know how many pillows are in here. A lot. There's a lot of pillows. I'll try to show a close-up picture if you can't see this from here. But there's tons of pillows, and this was what I actually planned on working on when I was in Florida, or when I just moved there. I felt like doing a pillow front consistently would be a small project, something manageable, but I just didn't know I'd be traveling as much as I was. But the directions are super simple in here. You just kind of need to find some fabrics that you have. This one was completely from scratch. This is, the red is Shabby from Lori Holt. I'm not sure of the actual colorway. This was like a freebie Fat Quarter bundle that I had received from Fat Quarter Shop. But the red was just perfect, and I loved kind of the little bits of distressing or texture that happens to give it some dimension and movement. The white was scrap. I want to say it's a Bella Solid, but I'm not sure what the white colorway is. And then the blue is Navy Speckled. This was some scrap off of wide back quilt backing. So it was just scrap that I had, perfect to use. I loved the gold metallic speckle in it to kind of act as a star. Now all I need to do is get a muslin, back it so that, you know, the pillow form doesn't mess it up. Back it, and I'll probably use some batting. I'm gonna go ahead and quilt all of this up really with some fun design. I'm not sure what I'll do yet, honestly. So yeah, I don't know what I'll do for the long arming design, but then I was thinking of this fabric for the backing. This is an old fabric from my stash, cotton and steel, cookie book. I can't remember who the designer was, but this was from fall 2014. So y'all, yeah, I'm playing from stash here. The red isn't quite the same, but I really felt like this would be just a fun fabric for the back of a pillow. So that's my plans for this guy. I honestly don't know when I'll get this on the long arm because it's really going to be a filler item. I'll probably wait to have a few more pillow covers finished before I throw it on there, so it might be a while. But it was a fun little patriotic project that I stitched probably on the 4th, maybe July 3rd. It just fit the bill. So this is Liberty Pillow, and the pattern is from Pillow Talk by Edita Star. Hey guys, so here's the next quilt. This is the Spring Picnic Quilt by It's Only Fabric and Thread, and this is a free quilt pattern that they offer. It's layer cake friendly and uses either a charm pack for the solids or a yard that you just subcut into 5-inch squares. It's very, very simple. I believe that the projected finished size is around 50 by 60, maybe it was 65, but somewhere around there. Each block measures down to 9.5 inches squared. It just gets subcut, your layer cakes get subcut into 9.5 by 5, and then you have 2 5-inch squares for the other half of the layer cake, and then you just mash them together. You try to get contrasting fabrics so that you can get, you know, some good V shapes. The pattern is actually, the first time I saw a picture of the pattern, it was in this orientation hanging over a railing, I think, but the actual pattern has the diamonds in the opposite direction, which actually gives it more of like an optical illusion, but that's not really what I was looking for. I actually liked the lower V shape, so I went with that instead. The original quilt, I'll put a picture here, is actually in solids, and that's what really caught my eye about it. So I'll probably do this quilt again with some solids, but it was a perfect fit for this pattern. You know, the viewfinders here in this print, I really wanted to make sure they didn't get cut up too small, so finding a layer cake friendly pattern that would allow some of these larger prints to shine was kind of a challenge for me. I also wanted something that was just like super simple, just bust it out, get it done, just let it be fun and playful. So this fabric collection that I used here, this is an older layer cake that I had. I don't think you're gonna find it, but who knows, maybe it's somewhere on eBay or Etsy in somebody's stash. This is an old collection. This collection is called Playful by Melody Miller, back when they were printing with cotton and steel. I want to say it was either somewhere between 2015 and 2018. I can't recall the actual year it was released, but it's definitely not around anymore. So you're not going to find it at your local quilt store. I'm sorry, I'm trying to quilt from stash right now and only buy solids. Not everything's lined up right now, just for, you know, getting it onto one design board here. But you can get the gist of it, of where it's going to go. And hopefully on next month's video, I'll have the whole thing at least put together, if not fully quilted on the long arm. We'll see how the client flow goes and see if I can sneak it in. But yeah, so this is Spring Picnic Quilt again. The Spring Picnic Quilt pattern. It's free. Feel free to head on over to her blog and download it and give it a try. This quilt is my last quilt to show in the studio. This one is Brimfield Block by Brimfield Awakenings, and I'm using the amazing De La Luna collection from Tula Pink. When I saw the collection, I was like, yes, this is happening. This is happening in this pattern, and I'm so in love with it. I worked trying to, so I'm very much like a planner when it comes to quilting. I like to have a lot of control, and this was my first full-blown English paper piecing quilt, and I knew I was going to want fussy cutting, because why wouldn't you with some of these really awesome fabrics? But I was also, it wasn't my first English paper piecing one, but like my first like big critical fabrics. Like, you're only gonna have this yardage available for so long, and then it sold out, right? As the amazing Tula Pink collections do. But with this one, I got really nervous and wanted everything planned out, because I wanted to have lots of good color variation throughout the different blocks. I think that there's 12. So originally I started with some graph paper and printed out, I guess it didn't need to be on graph paper, but this is what I was using for my quilt planner at the time. It was on some graph paper, and I printed out the coloring sheet that came with the pattern and tried to figure out the different colors of the center pieces and then how the other colors would fit around it. But it was really challenging. Was that one it? Or was it this one? Nope, it's this one. It was really challenging to try to be like, okay, well, that's going to be this one, and that's going to be this one, when everything was kind of this teal, purple, green. So I was able to kind of get a basic color placement, but still wasn't sure that if I actually followed this, all the fussy cutting fabrics, that I would have enough. So ultimately, I was really just overthinking it way too much, and then I was getting way too intimidated, too in my head to cut the actual fabric. That wasn't necessary, and honestly, it took until just recently, June, maybe it was May, to see an older Tula Pink video. I think she was with Fat Quarter Shop, and it was an old block of the month kind of program, English paper piecing program that they did together. And in watching the video, she made a comment about like, you can't plan this. You need to just start in the middle and see how the fabrics talk and work their way out. And when she said that, I was like, okay, I understand that. We have all the girls. There's one other colorway. There's two other girls. This is the other colorway. So this is kind of the pinkish colorway and the purple colorway. Here's some scraps. See what I mean by fussy cutting? I just wasn't sure I'd have enough. Yeah, I only ended up with one girl left here, and she's already up here. But I knew I had the girls, so I went ahead and started off with my girls. This was the first girl. I only have the papers for 2 months, so I can only do 2 months at a time before I attach it to the backing. Started off with the girls, and then I was like, okay, let's play with some pink, and let's play, you know, with some greens to kind of bring out the greens on her face and the blues in the shadows of her face. So started building out from there and pieced together so fast. And then I just kind of put up all the girls and said, okay, well, I like this motif. Let's just fussy cut out enough to make this motif for one or two of the blocks. And it just kind of took that approach. Then after I made her, I was like, let's just fussy cut the living daylights out of the fabric for where I think the motifs will fit. And then I'll have the building blocks or the puzzle pieces that I can throw together to make the rest of the blocks work. Again, because I'm just an overthinker and I want it planned, but as the interior designer in me wants like really good color placement throughout. So I feel this like need to still have some control over that. Anyways, I ended up laying everything out on here. I'll insert a picture. Ta-da! This is how I essentially plan to have it laid out for the final quilt. And at this point, I'm working on trying to decide on a fabric for my background.
from talking with my sister, if we wanted some, I wanted something fun, bold, but not distracting. So I thought it was just going to be like a solid, fun color. But honestly, I love texture, and grunge is like my favorite fabric ever. So the only fabric I had in grunge that really worked with it was this neutral, I want to say, this was like metallic couture gray or something along those lines. So I have this guy, and it works. I like it, but I'm not sure that the fabric is the right colorway. It might need to be a slightly cooler color. I'm not wanting a gray quilt, but honestly, it might be what it needs. I don't know. I'm just still too on the fence to take this fabric or have to go buy more of it because it's not enough for the full backing of the quilt. I don't know. What do you guys think? Think this color is okay? Like, it works with the green. It's warm enough. They're warm enough in color. It could work. You just don't know that it's the right color, and I don't have the lighter, like the next shade down in gray, to know if that would be the better option. I'm on the fence. Thoughts? I also don't know if maybe the gold is throwing me off, if the gold is just wrong and it just needs to be like cooler. I don't know, I'm so undecided, but I was really going gangbusters with this. I had an English paper piece for quite a while, and when I picked this back up and I actually started piecing this guy together, it went together so much faster than cross-stitching that I was like, oh my gosh, this is fast. I can do this. I can whip this out. It was more instant gratification than some of the cross-stitch projects. So I think I'm back to it. I'll be English paper piecing for a while. I just need to figure out the background. So if you guys have any thoughts, feel free to let me know. Again, this is my start on the Brimfield's block by Brimfield Awakening.
Okay, y'all, so that's the finishing for quilts that I actually have started, but I did get a lovely package, yay, from Cotton Cuts. I signed up for their new puzzle mystery quilt for the fall, and it's called the Wild West. And when I saw the name of it, I was like, okay, I'm intrigued. Like, I need to know more. I like the Wild West idea, and the title of the puzzle mystery quilt, so like Wild West, or past ones were Tree of Life or Carnival, is just kind of a vague idea of the layout of the final quilt. It's like a Wild West inspired layout, so it's not literal. And there's a bunch of different fabric options that you get to choose from. So preset themes, fabric collections, and you pick your color that you want to stitch and then or quilt, and you get to pick if you want to do the large or the small. You can add on borders or not, and they'll send you the binding included, and you can add on the backing. I chose not to add on the backing. I did add on an oops kit, but I haven't received it yet. That's just like additional fabric that you can use in case you make a mistake. How does this work? They send you a clue. You can either prepay, get all the clues at once, or they'll send you a clue a month. I'm sorry for the glare here. And I chose for the monthly, and this is clue 1. I went for the Halloween theme. Here's a picture of my collection that I'm doing. It's the Ghost Town collection, and this fabric collection's designed by Katarina Roccella. Okay, so what they do, the whole amazing part, sorry for that sticker, I want to open this up and share this with you. The whole amazing thing that they do is Cotton Cuts die cuts all the pieces for you. So if you've never quilted, you don't have to figure out the quilt math to cut the pieces properly. They're already cut for you. in the perfect shape that you need. Ears are trimmed. What? The ears are trimmed, everything's ready to go, and you just need to get it, lay it out, and stitch it together. You don't know what your clue being your block, or no, it's really a clue, what you're going to be stitching each month. So I have some various triangles. Gosh, y'all, this collection is out of the park. She did an amazing job. Let's see, let's get to some of the bigger ones. This fabric, this is Night Bloom in the rose colorway. I think this is what I'm gonna use for my backing. I just need to buy some. It's so beautiful. It's like the watercolor effect, but there's also fantastic line work or ink work in there. Excellent, excellent design. So you lay all those out as they call for. You get this pamphlet. So this is the picture I showed you before, and this is the binding. These are the two primary fabrics. Yes, this one and this one. And then you have your A, B, C, D, E, F, and your binding. And then this little guy just has some tips and tricks. All the good information that you need. And then there's the clues. In case any of that's proprietary, I don't want to share it. But like I said, I'm doing the small. And then they also give you a flat Nancy. So once you finish your blocks or your clue for the month, I have to keep saying clue because they're not necessarily always the same blocks, or they're not necessarily a full block. You have to put them all together at the end when, you know, you're figuring out your whole puzzle. They're puzzle pieces. And that's kind of how it comes together. So you can try to guess how it's going to lay out, but you have no idea. The blocks could be turned any which way. I'm super excited for it. Anyways, once you sew your blocks every month, you use the flat Nancy, take a picture of the flat Nancy with your finished blocks and share it online, and they do a gift card. Every month they give a $25 gift card to the shop, and then if you participate in all 10 months, it's only a 10-month program, you're entered to win a free puzzle mystery quilt for 2025 for the fall. So really exciting. It seems to me like I might fall behind, who knows, but it seemed to me, did I show you guys this color, this fabric? Stop it, it's so cute. I don't like spiders, but I love spider webs, so I'll give in on that one. Go down, don't wrinkle. Sorry, lost my train of thought there trying to get those straight. It seemed like a no-fail way for me that if I get overloaded with something project-wise at work, or if I'm really going gangbusters on knitting or a cross-stitch project, that I can get my clue every month pre-cut, and all I have to do is follow the directions for how to sew it and how to press it, and they tell you every seam which way how to press it so that the final quilt lays beautifully. It seemed like a no-fail way to get a quilt done, and an exciting way, because I normally am somebody who likes to have control over the direction of the prints, so making sure all ghosts or whatever are facing upright, and I have to give up that control because I have no idea how the final puzzle pieces are going to come together. So one could be upright, one could be down. So it sounded really exciting. If you guys want to see me sew this together or see the final thing, leave a note in the comments. If you want more information on it, I'm totally down to share that. I've never filmed my sewing on my domestic machine, but I certainly can. And then they also give you a cut of the month block in there, and then there's a coloring pattern coloring sheet on the back, and this is another way that you can color it and enter it in for a prize. Like, they're such a generous company. Yes, I also purchased some remnant fabrics that was on clearance. I got this Tula pink Macaya Later. Love that. Yeah, so the pattern's called Macaya Later. So cute. It was a remnant. I think that this one was 24 inches long by width of fabric, and it was like $3. Yeah, I'll do that. Sure. And then I also got, let's see, what color is this? Kona and Berry. And these are on, this is, this was pretty much 36 inches, so nearly a full yard. I mean, that is a yard, but it might be a bit of a wave on that cut. But it was the end of the bolt. So I got it as a remnant, and I think it was like $4. So cheap. I love remnant cuts. This is how I store my fabrics. If it's half a yard or larger, then I store it on these little comic board books. You can see it down in there. Comic book boards. And when I get to the end, I just fold this under. And fold it that way. I don't pin because I live in the South and there's humidity. And when I was in Florida, I did have some paper clips and metal things rust out just from the humidity. So I don't pin, but this works perfectly fine. And then everything's in clear plastic bins. Yeah, bins that I bought at Walmart from their home edit collection. They fit perfectly in the Billy bookcase with the doors closing. So this is how I store my fabrics. And then when it comes to solids, because there's no information on the selvage, on the front edge, I'll put the collection. So this one's Kona and the colorway. And then all the way in on the inside edge that's in here, I also write Kona Berry. That way I can always know what the actual colorway is of this fabric in case I need to try to get more and color match. And when you're picking, when I'm just pulling fabrics and I'm like, ooh, this is good. Ooh, this is good, but it's slightly off, then I can pull it up and pull it up online and see if there's another color that's like one step warmer or cooler or whatever I need. That's kind of the reasoning for that. And then I'm also able to go into my quilting, my Notion quilting planner and look up, okay, Kona Berry, how much yardage do I have in that? Because there are multiple types of yardage that I keep on these boards. That's where I'm able to see this one's 36 by width of fabric and this one's 24 by width of fabric. Or if there's like some fussy cutting cut out of it, but other than that, it's 1.5 yards plus. If you guys would like to see more information on my Notion quilting planner, I do sell a template for it on Gumroad, on my Gumroad, and I am working on a cross stitch quilting. What? No, stop it. On a cross stitch planner for Notion, a template on there. If you guys would like to see more information on the quilting one, I am able to share that one right now. I do have some more things that I'm working out in the background, trying to clean up on the cross stitch one before I release that. But you can see the quilting one. There's a video scroll through. It's not a tutorial, it's just a scroll through in the listing for it on my Gumroad. But I am working to plan, hopefully this month, a walkthrough kind of tutorial video for it. If it's not out this month, I'll release it next month because I really do want to get that out as just a benefit for the customers and purchasers of this template. That way you know a better idea of how to set it up and what links to what and what the different fields are used for. If you guys haven't tried Notion yet, it's an amazing intuitive planner. It allows me to have a fabric database and a pattern database and a project database and link everything together, or libraries. You could call them libraries. They don't have to be databases. The technical term is a database, but you can link everything together. So if you edit it in one place, it trickles out to the other places, and it's free. There is a paid version, but it's a free resource if you like to be able to access things from your computer, from your tablet, from your phone. I think the most impactful part for me is when I'm at my local needlework store, I can pull up my shopping list and be like, oh, okay, these are the flosses I need. Oh, that's for this project. No, I don't really need that right now. I can hold off on that, or, different things like that. But you can see what you have. You can also see what you have in stash and shop from that in case you have something. Sorry for that plug, but if this is something you want more information on, let me know and I can share it with you. If you are a quilter and you're interested in the quilt planner, I call it the ultimate quilt planner, because oh my goodness, y'all, to me, it captures everything you need in a planner that if it was a paper planner, you'd have to keep rewriting, or I just got tired of my paper planners. It captures all of it and it's always on the go. I don't have to carry a paper book with me when I go to the quilt store or anything. So I find it incredibly useful. I think it's intuitive, but maybe not so intuitive. Anywho, let me know if this is something you're interested in and we can give a tutorial or more information, a walkthrough perhaps, to show you how I use it. Okay, friends, so that was my quilting. I hope things worked out with the clips in the studio and that the format was okay. Let me know if you have any suggestions for improving it or anything like that. Again, this is my first time and I've never shared my quilting in this format. So not necessarily in this format, but in video. So trying to get it into screen, and it's not the best angles in my studio. But hopefully it worked out okay for you, and I'll be able to share more in the future. So my next project, my next new endeavor is knitting. I have knit in the past, but I've never actually knit a full project. I've always started off on, a simple swatching or just learning the stitches, learning to knit, learning to purl, and I always got bored with whatever beginner project I was doing before I could finish a scarf or anything like that. So I decided to jump on into the deep end and have my first knitting project be socks. Like so many other people on Cross Stitch have done recently, I joined the sock family. And I have to say, I'm probably most enabled, or I've been most tempted and enabled by Xstitch MD from when I first started watching her, when she first started posting videos and she'd share her knitting and all her socks. I was like, that looks amazing. Her shawls, love them. Those are probably the only things I'll really ever knit. But I was always too intimidated because I never, again, I always got bored with whatever I was knitting, whatever test sample I was knitting. And I've tried multiple times. So I knew how to do the stitches, but I haven't given it a shot in probably 5 years. I was definitely in Austin. I may have been in Round Rock, Texas. It's been a minute, y'all. It's been a minute. Anyways, I jumped in the deep end and decided I'm going to teach myself to knit some socks. So I did some YouTube research, as we do. And I also had been listening to Legacy Fiber Arts podcast, and those ladies are just so lovely. On their podcast on YouTube, they were sharing some various projects and showing some yarn, and I was like, okay, let's just give this a shot. So I bought this Hocus Pocus collection from Legacy Fiber Arts, and it's their sock set, which is in their Steel Toes yarn, and I love it. So I'm doing the pattern I'm doing. Here, I can show you where I'm at now. Oh my gosh, y'all. I just started this a couple days ago. So here's where I'm at now. I'm doing a like mid-length sock, mid-height sock. There's definitely some errors, so don't look too closely, y'all. I'm new and I'm okay. I'm okay with the errors being there because this is my first pair. So this is off of the I'm So Basic Socks by Summerlee Designs, and the 3 YouTube channels that I've been going off of mostly have been Summerlee Designs, the sock, and Earth Tones Girl and Crazy Sock Lady. So I've been bouncing between the 3 of them, and I decided I'm gonna do it on a magic loop. I got the Addy Sock Rockets 40-inch size 1 circular, and I have, yeah, you can see some of the errors. It's okay, I don't care. I'm learning. Good electricity flickers. I might lose power here. So I did 13 rounds of knit 2, purl 1 for my cuff, and then I did 40 rounds of just good old knitting. Here's the front. And I just cast on, or changed colors to my heel flap. And this is just a knit 1, slip 1 kind of pattern. I am proud that I was able to notice, hey, I picked up an extra stitch over here. And I all of a sudden went from the right amount of stitches to too many stitches and decreased 1, got back on, decreased 1 down here. It went a ways and I wasn't about to rip it all out. No, it wasn't that high. It was from here to here. So it wasn't very long, but I was able to decrease and get back to it. And I'm pretty proud of myself. I'm pretty proud of where I've gotten for my first set. I'm having fun with this. Yeah, we're probably about to lose power here. It's a good storm. And I caked my yarn for the first time. I was pretty excited about that. Here's my little bit of green left. But yeah, this Hocus Pocus colorway is just amazing. I knew I had to have it. There were so many other colorways that I was really in love with, and now that I'm full-fledged, I know I can do this. It's not that hard. I'll probably try to max out on 1 pair every couple months, just to keep it in budget, so I can still buy the quilting and the cross-stitch things too. I do have some yarn in my stash, but not fingering weight. And this is in wiping dog hair off. I'm not trying to Vanna White this, but I guess I will. This is in a Me Made bag. I think, I can't really remember what the designer was for this pattern. It was like an inside bag to a purse bag. The fabric, I can't remember who the fabric is either. Let's see. I'm sure I can find this for you though. I just need to look in my Notion. Yes, I got you. This pattern way is Jackalope in Organic Dusk, or it's an organic and it's in Dusk by Arlene Hillier. And this was printed by Birch Fabrics as part of the Tall Tales collection. And I made this when I made a bag, like the full-size bag for my girlfriend Jolie. She and her husband, who's no longer with us, he was our They were our best friends, but they were in a band called Jolie and the Jackalopes, which was a derivative of the band that her parents had, the Jackalopes. And I made the bag for her originally out of this fabric with this Essex linen lining. I'm not sure of the colorway on this. I couldn't find it in any of my paperwork, so I must have bought it in person. But I made her a full-size bag, I think for maybe for her birthday or just for a gift. And she uses it now as a gig bag, but I decided I love the fabrics. I wanted something too. So I made this little zipper bag, and it's perfect, y'all. Like, you can just fold down the top, fold it inside out so your yarn's not hitting on anything, or it's got a decent flat bottom. So you can set it on a table. I brought this with me to the stitching retreat, and it had, you know, my yarn, my Artz jar and all that. That was a massive strike right there. I might lose power. Hopefully not. But it worked out excellent for using that. It does have exposed seams, but I zigzag stitch them. I don't have a serger, and if it was really that big of a deal, I could stitch it down so it wouldn't be too bothersome. But honestly, I haven't had a problem with it since. I will try to post. No, I won't try. I will post the pattern name down below. Yeah. So that's my little project bag. Now it's my knitting bag. Okay, here's another little segue. I just realized I forgot to film this bit. One of my other crafts that took up most of the middle of the month was my 12 Days of Christmas felt ornaments. This is a project. The patterns are by Crafts, MMM Crafts, and the felts are from Benzie Designs, I believe. Yeah, I believe so. These are ornaments for the 12 Days of Christmas. But this is an ornament pattern set that I started back when I was in Austin. A bunch of my coworkers and I started these. Which way does this guy go? I think these ones go down. They might go down. I might be wrong. They might go up. I think they go down. But I started these in Austin with a group of coworkers. They were my team at the time when I was working at Studio 65. And we all kind of jumped in on the deep end. I definitely enabled everybody to join in with me. We had a good solid group of like 6 or 7 people, 6 or 7 ladies working on these on our lunch breaks together. So much fun. I just need to finish stuffing the bird. I don't need to finish, I need to start stuffing the bird with some polyfill. I left a gap down here, but before I close in up here, I wanted to stuff down into the tail. I have a little more control from this angle, so I wanted to do that. But these guys are so cute. They're just stitched with DMC floss on the back of the wings, on the back of each one. It's like the number 4, and then I was stitching the years that I was working on it. So we have 21 was this when this one started. I think that I started this one in Florida, and I hope to get it finished when I realized I didn't have the stabilizer for the wings or the beak. I had thrown it away in the move, and then I picked it back up last year. Guess what? Still didn't have the stabilizer, put it away. Didn't make it any farther. And I chose to not stitch 24 on this one, but I do plan to go farther with my other ornaments to get it finished. So hopefully next time this will be a finished ornament. But it's like a really easy peasy introduction kind of project for doing felting. It's not the cheapest project to jump into, but it's worth it. Oh yeah, I've also enabled my sister to join in. But you get it's like a sulky, dissolvable Like you can print on it. It's paper here. You can print the pattern on it and then cut out around, but this is essentially your stitching pattern. So then you take the paper backing off and you stick it onto your felt. And then you just stitch around as the pattern calls for. You can do your own colors. You can put it on whatever color felt you want. There's so much freedom. So you just do like probably a little back stitch and back stitch on those lines, and then you cut it out along the lines, and then you soak it so that the stabilizer dissolves, washes away in water, and then you just continue sewing it together. So I'm hoping I'll probably start on the ring. I have the swan and a couple other birds and a pair finish, but they are packed for Christmas, so y'all can see those in December when my trees are out. But I have all the various different kits here. So yeah, I've also been doing that. Lastly, I'll give a little bit of a life update. If you guys want to peace out, that's totally fine. I understand this isn't everybody's cup of tea. What has been up with me in the last month? Life hasn't been too crazy, like just regular life. I did have my quarterly Botox treatment, and then a week later I did go in for my Vyepti infusion. Both went very well, but minimal relief. It didn't add up. I didn't get any additional relief this time, so it might just be maxed out and might be is what it is kind of situation. Have to wait for kind of the next new treatment option to come up. I've tried loads of different medications and classes and all that. Medication classes, so like the TANs, the triptans, and the G-pants and all those. Sadly, they're just not working, not helping. I did go in for a evaluation for vestibular therapy, and the gentleman was incredibly nice, incredibly helpful. He said he would be the kind of like a go-to in the area when it comes to vestibular therapy, and all in all, from our really good discussion, decided that it really wouldn't be a good fit for me right now. My symptoms are not just like basic in the ear symptoms. It's definitely brain or eye related. So it would only be doing exercises that would teach me to deal with it instead of continuing to find treatment or the root cause of the vertigo. And I really don't want to just deal with it yet. I mean, I am dealing with it. It's fine. Like, it's life, right? But I don't want to just resort to like, hey, here's how you deal. And based off of the other things that I've done vision therapy and worked on, tracking and all that stuff. So it's not with my eyes per se. So definitely it's worth more digging, I guess you could say. And due to that, I have a new primary care physician that I'm gonna go see, and then hopefully we can find a headache specialist or migraine specialist in the area. My neurologist is amazing, and I don't want to abandon him, or he is really helpful. I'm not trying to leave him, but I would like at least a second opinion or some fresh eyes on my case, since it's tricky. I love it. I just had to be tricky. Is what it is, right? Is what it is. Otherwise, what happened in July? 4th of July, we didn't really, for those in the States, we didn't really do anything here. We were very low key. Just hung out, cross-stitched, cuddled my dog. She does amazing with storms and fireworks, so thank goodness. We live next to Fort Jackson. Not next to, but close enough that when they're doing drills and whatnot, you can feel the booms and hear the shakes, or feel the shakes. Feel the booms and feel the shakes. you can hear, you know, the shooting practice and whatnot too. So she does amazing with all of that, and we're so blessed with that. My greyhound would have been terrified. She would have been terrified. Anywho, what else? I had the cross stitch retreat. Yeah, it's been pretty low key. I mean, I got my quilting mojo back, so I spent a lot of time in the studio. As for August, my family is coming. I have family coming to visit this week. I'm so excited. My niece is coming and my dad is coming on Tuesday. And this is kind of her last, it's not kind of, it is her last trip to go see family before she's on like final lockdown. I don't know the correct term. She can't leave base because she'll be restationed into Germany. She signed up for I think a 3-year commitment to Germany. But yeah, so we're pretty proud of her, and I'm really excited that she's coming out here to visit us. She already went back to the West Coast to visit her friends and the rest of our family, and now she's coming to see us. Right now she's in Fort Hood, so she was really close to us when we were in Austin, and then once she got stationed there, we were in the moving truck like 3 weeks later. It was ridiculous. I think it was like 3 weeks. She had just gotten off to be able to like leave base. And then it was like a week after that we moved. It was really sad. But work is work, and that's where work was calling me to leave. So anyways, she'll be out here. We're super excited to have her here. And then I just threw it out to my dad. I was like, hey Dad, she's coming out. You want to come out? You want to kick her down to the sofa bed and you can have the guest room? And I wasn't sure if he'd take me up on the offer, but he did. So he's coming too. She'll be here for just Tuesday through Sunday, and he'll be here for, I think, 2 weeks. So I'm really excited for some good hangout time. And of course, I don't have too much energy capacity. Like last month, filming Flosstube and then editing, getting it going. It doesn't take that much energy, but it was enough to drain me migraine-wise for 2 days after. Same with the cross-stitch retreat. I didn't make it to the first night, and I made it in like an hour. I made it in around like 8:45. It started at 7 in the morning, and I think I left around 4:30, and it ended at 6. But that's just all I could do with my migraine energy levels, and then that also put me down for like 2 or 3 days afterwards. So because of that, like we're not going to be sightseeing or doing super touristy things. It'll just be, you know, good all hanging out at the house, you know, maybe going out for dinner, but very low-key, playing board games, probably watching Criminal Minds or NCIS or anything like that. Those kinds of fun shows. I guess that's not fun to everybody. We enjoy it. But we'll probably be watching things like that. Who knows? Good, just good old family hangout bonding time before she heads off to Germany. And then hopefully in the spring, maybe we'll head to Germany to go see her, visit her, and pop over to maybe Netherlands and then France. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see if that's even possible. Who knows? Yeah, who knows? That's in the future. It's in the hopes, but we'll see. What else? I think that's really it in the plans for August. But yeah, so life is still good. I'm still kicking, and we're still here. So thank you guys so much for hanging around through all of that. I know this is a long video. Oh my goodness gracious, this is a real long video. I might break that up. Yeah, I might break that up. See if I can. Anyways, thank you guys for hanging out with me here, and please hit subscribe so you can get notifications on future videos that I post, and hit the like button if you enjoyed spending some time here. I know I generally watch on my phone or watch on my TV, so it's, ooh, let me grab the remote, go up, hit like before the video ends. But yeah, so please subscribe, hit like, and I hope that you join me next time. Thank you so much for watching, and happy stitching.